Welcome back, Sauce23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And before I get started, if you like this video, please drop a thumbs up on it. It helps our channel a whole bunch. If not, thumbs down also works. And if you like knife content and you're not already, smash that subscribe button with the bell notification so you don't miss any of the content. All right, today I have a Spyderco for y'all. This is a DLT exclusive Yojimbo 2 in 20 CV blade steel. This version, when it was available, came in at $158. You can still buy the S30V version of this, which comes in at $154 with the satin blade. They're out of stock in most places right now, but I'm sure they will be coming back. This may come back as well. DLT tends to do more runs of their exclusives. But this is a Michael Janich design. He's a personal defense trainer. So the main purpose of this is a self-defense style knife. I'm not a guy that carries a knife for self-defense and sole purpose. You know, if I had to use it, maybe, but I'd probably run. If I couldn't run, then maybe. But I am going to be looking at it to see if it could be a good EDC user. Let's get a size size out of the specs out of the way. You have a total length of 7.5 inches, so about a medium-sized knife. Blade length of 3.125 inches. A grip area of around 4 inches. Handle thickness is pretty thin, actually, at 0.45 inches. Closed width in the pocket from here to here of 1.68 inches, so it's going to be a pocket hog. And you have a blade stock thickness of a stout 0.14 inches. And the behind the edge thickness on my particular knife is around 23 thousandths at 16 degrees per side. All right, before we get any further into it, let's cut off into some cutting footage and we'll be right back. All right, we're going to test the factory edge out. Very, very sharp. Spyderco's really good at doing that. All right, that sliced very well. This little spot right here is so comfortable, especially for a flat scaled knife. See how it's holding up? Very, very good. Okay, we're gonna test the ergos and how well the edge is still biting into this pine 2x4. You know, it's a soft wood. All right, I think it did well for, you know, it's a tactical knife. I don't think this would be your first choice to do any wood shaving, whittling, whatever you want to call it. But we'll say that the edges and that point right there, you know, whenever I was putting a lot more pressure into it, wasn't the most comfortable. You get it done in a pinch, but after a while, it'd probably hurt your hand and fatigue your hand. And yes, I know it's not made for that, so. Okay, we're gonna cut a few different types of material. Today we're going to try to cut up this 3/8 inch industrial bungee cord. We got some, where is it at? 1,100 pound paracord. It's thicker stuff. Let's see, we got two different thickness tubings. We got 1/2 inch right here. This is a dense tubing. 1 inch right here, dense. And we got some blue jean denim. And we have some saddle leather, some pretty thick saddle leather. So let's get started with the paracord, see if it still pops paracord. Alrighty. I'd say it did fairly well, especially being it's a flat, straight blade, straight edge. Warncliffe, in my opinion, is an excellent detail worker for that point, where I can drag that point like I did with this leather. And the only thing I'd noticed whenever I was doing the power, pushing down with force, this bump was hurting. This right here was hurting. Quite a few hot spots. Let's see, where's that coming from? There's something else that was stabbing me right here. I think it was the top of the clip and the point on the edge of this G10. So it wasn't the most comfortable in the downward force, but I know it's not really made for that. So I think it did pretty well. Let's test the edge out real quick. Yep, I'd say that is still smoking sharp. All right. Alrighty, I hope y'all enjoyed that footage. It was nice to get to use this and try to use it in an EDC roll. See how it worked out for me. Being this isn't something I usually go for. But let's take a close look at this. You have a very nice straight Warncliffe blade with a medium height hollow grind. You have the Spyderco logo on this side and Spyderco CPM 20CV on this side as well. You have the Michael Janet's maker's mark right there. This is made in their Golden, Colorado, USA Earth factory. You have a very dainty point there. You're definitely not going to want to pry with this at all. You will snap that. It's more made for piercing and stabbing. I like this little hump right here. It really lends itself nicely. The little scoop in the blade. You don't need any jimping on there. You got a nice wide flat to put your thumb down, and I never felt like I was going to slip off of it. Very good control though with that right there. Edge termination goes all the way to the back. Some people like that. I personally don't. It's a little hard, difficult sometimes for me to get back to the edge. To the very back with my fixed angled system. And this one didn't come all the way back with the grind anyway, so I'll probably cut a notch in that if I keep this one. No forward finger choil like on most. You could maybe choke up a bit. Have to be very careful, and it's not that comfortable. Close it up. Very smooth action. This is riding on phosphor bronze washers. As you can see, like that. And no play at all, left to right, and absolutely none up and down. This is using the Spyderco compression lock. Basically, it's like a reverse liner lock. There is the lock bar right there, and pinch it, and there you go. Keeps your fingers out of the way of the blade path, so that's always a nice feature. You have peel ply G10 on this side. Scales, and the texture on them is a nice medium traction. Gives you some very nice grip. Love how they use the panhead screws that are countersunk, so they sit flush with the scales. You have 4-way positional pocket clip, tip up, tip down, left or right hand carry. It isn't deep carry. Let's see what it looks like in the pocket. Let's see. I wish Spyderco would start using some deep carry clips on their models, but I don't ever see that happening. Now, the clip does function nice, and that's how much you have sticking out of the pocket. And just know if you're going to be carrying this, it's a pocket hog. So if you carry anything else in your pocket, this may not be the knife you want to carry. All right. Blade to handle ratio is pretty darn good for a warnie, especially because you don't want to be able to touch that warnie tip. You do not have a lanyard hole on this one. You have flow-through construction, 2 just plain Jane barrel standoffs. Action, like I said, is nice and snappy. D10's dialed in nicely. You can spidey flick it easily as The only thing I did notice is that the hole is a little bit sunk into the scales, which is not a problem for me, but maybe if you have big old giant meat hooks, you might have trouble getting behind there. I don't have a problem. It is a pretty nice size hole. So there you go. Overall, I enjoyed it. Now let's get some size comparisons and weight, and then we will talk about my nitpicks. Okay, there's a PM2. PM2 is a little bit longer, and of course the Power 3 is a little bit shorter. So it's a good in between of those two. Let's see, two more. You got the Ontario Rat 1, the bigger Rat, which is a good bit bigger, and then the Ontario Rat Model 2, just like the Spyderco Power 2, Power 3 and PM2. It sits in between those two. Let's get a weight. It's a nice, comfortable weight. In my opinion, grams first, 116 grams and 4.1 ounces. So definitely not too heavy for me to carry. You also, besides your thick G10 scales, you also have inset stainless steel liners in there to give it some added rigidity, and for that lock, that compression lock, to have something to go to strengthen itself. Nitpicks and complaints. First up, the blade hole on this thing is pretty darn sharp. It leaves behind part of my fingernail every time I do a spidey flick, and then when I roll it open, you get dead skin all up in there. So, that happens with, the spidey hole. But I'd rather it be like that so I could get, a good purchase on it than my finger slip out of it. So it's a catch-22 there. Also, it's not hurting anything, but I just hate that right there. And if you're going to go all the way to the back right here to get that full edge, then come all the way to the back. They got a little bit closer on this side. But that said, the bevels on this particular Yojimbo are exactly the same, 16 degrees per side. So that's always good to see. You don't see that often, or at least I don't. Ergos, in my opinion, are just okay as far as like EDC task cuttings. If you're going to cut cardboard, open up packages, cut string and stuff like that, it's going to be just fine. But whenever I was doing the more pressure cuts, I noticed the way my fingers, where they sit out, this finger was kind of hitting that, and this finger sometimes would hit that one. And being it's the flat scales like that, it's not, the most comfortable in the world, but it's not bad for what it is. And last but certainly not least, that compression lock, you barely have any to grab a hold to right there. I'm having to bury my fingernail in there and press down on it. Luckily, my buddy Justin from OCD for EDC has come out with this compression made easy to fix that problem. So there you go. Like I said, for what it is, I appreciate it. Would I buy another one? Probably not. Do I like it? Yeah, it's a good knife. I like Warnies, so I'm torn 50-50 on this one. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolutely wonderful day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.